Welcome to Let the Prophets Speak. This is the host of the podcast, Saul Weinreb. This is podcast 6C, and we're going to complete today the 6th chapter of Isaiah. Isaiah just accepted the mission to bring prophecy to the people. And God is about to begin in verse 9 to tell Isaiah what is the message that he should bring to the people. And these are his words. Vayomer, and God said, Lech v'amarta la'amazeh, go and speak to this nation. Shim'u shamoa v'al tavinu. Listen to my words, but do not understand my words. Ura'o v'al teda'o, and see the things that I am showing you, but do not know or understand what I am saying. Hashmein lev ha'amazeh, make the heart of the nation fat. V'aznov hachbeid v'enov hasha, make their ears heavy and make their eyes close. Penyir ebeinov, lest they see with their eyes. Uvaznov yishman, lest they maybe hear with their ears. Ulvavo yavin, and maybe they'll understand. Vashav, and then they may return v'rafalo and be healed, and they may repent and come back. These verses, translated exactly as written, are quite strange, as it sounds like God is commanding Isaiah, to tell the people to ignore his words of prophecy. There are many approaches in the commentaries to understand what God is telling Isaiah to say. I will mention the second version, the second explanation given by the Radak, which is consistent with the Targum Yonatan, that God is really saying, tell the people, even though they aren't really listening. Show them this message, even though they aren't really seeing. And continuing this into the next verse 10, you, the people, the audience of this prophecy, are fattening your hearts. You are making your ears heavy. You are afraid to truly take my words to heart, because you are afraid that you might repent. You are actually afraid to return to God and be healed. While this makes a lot of sense theologically, it doesn't fit the words very well, because the words sound like they actually are stating that God is telling Yeshayahu to tell the people not to listen and tell the people not to understand, because, oh no, maybe someone might return and repent and come back to God. So I would like to suggest another way to interpret these two verses. I would translate them exactly as spoken. And this may be one of the rare instances where God actually asks a prophet to use sarcasm, or maybe better explained, to use a dare. Tell the people. Tell them. Listen, but don't understand. Dare them to see what I'm showing you, but don't take it to heart. Dare them. Fatten your hearts. Ignore the possibility of returning to God. Not because he really wants them to do that, of course not. But sometimes a dare tactic or a sarcastic tactic might get the message across. Come on, listen, right? And this is what God is really saying to Ishayahu here. Maybe this tactic will trigger them to listen, because unfortunately nothing else has worked yet. And then in verse 11, Ishayahu responds. And this is beautifully dovetails with what we were just saying. We have tried so many different tactics. Now you God are telling me to even try this strange and unusual tactic of a dare, right? And Yeshayahu is naturally exasperated. Ad masai Adonai, until when will this continue, my master God? Vayomer, so how long will this go on? And he said further, Ad asher imsha'u arim me'en yoshev, will this keep on going until the cities will be laid waste with no one living in them, and homes with no one in them, and the land will remain destroyed? Nothing is working. When will the message get through to them? Why do they continue to ignore me? Yeshayahu asks. That's verse 12. How long will God keep man distant from him? How long will there be so many people wandering the land that have been abandoned by God due to their stubbornness and refusal to learn? And then in the last verse, Isaiah continues to speak, but he sees a message. Presumably, he sees a message from God as his answer, although God himself doesn't say this. This is something that Isaiah recognizes on his own. Some words of consolation. V'od ba Assyria v'shava v'hayta leva'er ka elah v'cha alon asher b'shaleches matzevet bam zera kodesh matzavta. When Yeshayahu asked God the question, until when will this last? It occurred to Yeshayahu the following answer to his own question. And I'm again using the Targum Yonatan as my guide in interpreting this verse. Yeshayahu answered his question on his own with some words of consolation. And that was, there will always be some people, maybe a small amount, maybe just a tenth of the people. Those will get the message, and they will return to inhabit the land that was destroyed. Even though the land will be desolate, they will still return. They will still come back to this land. Just like a terebinth or an oak tree, that even though they cast their leaves, asher bishalechet, when they cast their leaves, matzevet bam, their trunk still remains sturdy. Zera Kodesh, the holy seed of Israel, matzavta, will be that sturdy part, that sturdy trunk that will always remain, and they will come back to inhabit the land. This completes chapter 6 and podcast 6c. Looking forward to studying together with you chapter 7.